Hey everyone, it's me, JB, and we are going into week 8, which actually made me realize that we are already 2 months or just about 2 months into 2017, which is like super, super crazy to me that February is almost over and done with. So, wow. So, how are you doing so far? I've heard from some of y'all, and it's been nice because I hear that some people are having, like some are easier than others, and I'm like, okay, good, I'm not the only one. And then some you're just like, no, no, not this week, kind of thing. But anyway, our verse for this week is from Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteousness. No, that's not right. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. Live without fear. Now, I had been thinking about this. I knew that this was the next verse since like over a week ago. And so I'd been thinking about this a lot. And fear is it's crazy because from birth, you are almost conditioned to fear. We tell our kids, don't talk to strangers, don't take candy from people you don't know, don't touch this, don't do this, don't do this, don't. So we have almost from a young age been conditioned to fear. And so as we become adults, we almost take some of those fears with us. As a kid, being afraid of the dark, being afraid of monsters in the closet. I know I used to couldn't be able to sleep if the closet door was shut. Like it had to be open because I wanted to make sure that nothing was hiding in there. And if it was open, then in my mind, nothing could have gotten in there. If it's open and it's clear when I go to sleep, then it has to stay clear because you can't sneak by me. So, that's the kind of things that we do. But as kids, we are conditioned to have these little things. And it's not that our parents are trying to make us fearful. It's because they're trying to warn us that there are dangers. And as we get older and we get into our faith or not get into our faith, then we hear, God is telling us, do not fear, for I am with you. And you're like, wait a second, but I have to be afraid of this, and I have to be afraid of that, and I have to be afraid of this, and I have to be. And I think that it gets to the point where there is unhealthy fears and there are healthy fears. There are some fears that are healthy. If you are walking down the street and someone pulls a knife on you and you're fearful, that's healthy. You mean that's a scary moment. But sometimes we have unhealthy fears that sometimes stifle us from living our life to the fullest. Like, I will admit it, I'm afraid of airplanes. I am. I still go on trips on planes, but there is a lot of anxiety in me about getting on a plane and making it to my destination. And it was all because I was on a plane that dropped 100,000, couple 100,000 feet. Um, and if you've ever been through an experience where you're flying, you feel a little turbulence, and then all of a sudden your pain just starts to just free fall, you understand like this fear. And so ever since then, I'm like, no planes. I don't care. No, not doing it. Not going to go near it. It just scared the mess out of me. And I think for me, never getting an explanation of like why that happened. I mean, the pilot comes on after, but there's not an explanation of why our plane just fell from the freaking sky. Like, hello, I understand it caught because I'm still alive, but like, how does that happen? Like, you need to explain this to me. So it has made me have a fear. And this is something I think we all have different things that we're afraid of. Us. Some of us are afraid of, death, and some of us are afraid of spiders. And I have a really good friend who I'm sure is watching this who's afraid of clowns. And she's probably going to send me a message after she sees this. But these are not things that are healthy for us to be afraid of. And God doesn't want us to live with those types of fears, because when we have fears, those fears keep us from doing things that we want to do. I probably take a lot less trips now. Well, I know for a fact before that happened, I traveled a lot more before I did after that. So I think since that incident, I've only been on a plane maybe twice because it scared me that bad. And it was probably a good maybe 7, 8 years ago. So like I was just that scared. Now I'll get on a boat now. I'll get on a boat. On a plane, I need to talk to myself. I need to have like a moment. I need to talk with Jesus. I'm like, Jesus, am I okay? I'm not feeling this plane ride. I talk to God really, really real because you just have to sometimes. But he is telling us that he doesn't want for us to have that fear and that we should find strength in him. So this is one that I think is great, 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 great for us to add. As we live at peace and in strength with faith and perseverance, without complaining, to listen without anger and without fear. So this is going to be one that's going to take some doing as we are 2 months into this year, but I think this is one that we can do. I think that when we get to the point where we put all of our faith and our trust in God and we really walk in that daily, I think that the fear thing becomes easier to kind of lay down. You're going to always still have those moments because we're not perfect, but to stop fearing in little things that might keep us from doing something great, even the little fears that we have sometimes speaking out to someone or saying something to someone. What could you have missed in that moment? Like, what could you have missed just because you had fear? And I don't want to ever miss anything because I was afraid. Like, if I miss something, I want it to be because I wasn't there. I don't want it to be because that I was afraid. So let's work on this one. Let's add it this week. Go out and live without fear. So, because I'm very bad at this, don't forget to like, subscribe, thumb it up, all that kind of stuff. I swear I will get better at that, but I'm not very good at adding that stuff in. Feel free to share, send me a message, Facebook. All of my information will be popping up at some point in time in this video. I love to hear from you. Yeah, so that's it. I'm going to get better at that part. I'm very, very bad at remembering to tell people to do things that you're supposed to do, but you're supposed to ask for what you want. Asking you shall receive. So click subscribe because I want you to subscribe. So anyway, this week, go out and live without fear. I'll see you next week.